This here is the yearly calendar. I don't like to look at my phone first thing, but this morning I did. I just had a quick email I needed to respond to. I started off by writing for about 30 minutes and then I did some admin tasks. And then after that, I was writing an exemplar A-level English essay paragraph for some students, and this was on the meter and caesura in Leontes' first speech in The Winter's Tale in Act 1, Scene 2, which is a wonderful soliloquy, by the way, and I would definitely recommend reading it, even if you're not usually a fan of Shakespeare. I also tried to do morning pages every morning, so I just spent like 5-6 minutes doing a page of writing in my notebook, and then I got back to doing more writing, and I ended up writing until about 12:30, at which point we actually went out, we went Christmas shopping, but I decided not to vlog that, so here are just a few quick clips. I was deciding here which book to read, and I was so torn because I really wanted to read both of these, but I ended up going for Wait, which is a retelling of the myth of Atlas by Jeanette Winterson. Both of these books were sent to me by Blakeney, and I want to read them both before I see her next. I sat down, of course, with my heated blanket again, and I started this book. I read about half, I believe, whilst eating my breakfast. Next, I really wanted to learn some new philosophy. I was really in the mood for it. I think it was Jeanette Winterson. I think she encouraged me to think philosophically. So, a little life hack. I like to go on the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, and I will just scroll through that index and choose something random. So today I was learning about backward causation, which is a relatively new mode of thought. David Hume's theory of cause and effect is, of course, the most known and the most famous theory when it comes to causation. And he says that cause always comes before effect. However, backward causation complicates that, and it proposes that cause doesn't necessarily precede effect, and that it's possible for the cause to come after the effect, even though the cause still causes the effect. Yes, that sounds very confusing. It's fairly interesting. I'd recommend having a read, but honestly, if you're going to read something on causation, you're better off reading Hume directly, because This theory does feel very roundabout. Then I did some more journaling, of course, and I also randomly ended up writing 2 poems. Next, I planned my day. I wrote my to-do list. I'm using the academic planner from Pumpkin Productivity, which is the one that I designed. And the yearly planner is actually available now, and I'm going to include a little walkthrough of the planner towards the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. And then here I got on with some writing. Again, I was writing for a couple of hours. I wrote until lunchtime, so that was about 3 hours. I just had a few quick admin bits to get done. Not the most exciting thing. Now I'm going to go downstairs and get a coffee, and then I'm going to come back up and I'm going to finish editing chapter 11 of the book I'm writing. And then I'm going to go on a walk. I meant to go on a walk at like 10 today, but I think it's going to be more like 11:30. I'm also listening to the Secret Garden soundtrack, which is one of my favourites. Today I'm going to try the light blend. While the coffee's going, I'm just going to fill up almond pods in this tin. We went for the light roast ones this time. So I got into ballet in 2020. Oh, that's a terrible angle. Just doing ballet fit classes. I did ballet when I was younger because we had to do it at school, but I never liked it. And then I started doing ballet fit classes online, just teaching myself little bits in 2020. Was really into it in 2021 as well. 2022, I've hardly done it at all, and I want to get back into it because it's good exercise. It's quite meditative, something I really enjoy doing. So I'm actually going to get myself to do a quick ballet fit class now. I've got my ballet shoes, and this is my leotard, which is actually a gymnastics leotard because I didn't do ballet when I was younger, but I did do gymnastics, and so I still have my leotards for that. Let's get changed. There we go. 2 years ago, so 2020 December, I learnt a little excerpt of the dance The Sugar Plum Fairy, and I'm going to practice it because I'm feeling quite festive. One thing you should know about me is I love the Nutcracker. Like, actually my edition is here. Here's my edition of the Nutcracker, which is really beautiful. It's one of my favourite stories, so not my favourite book, but it's one of my favourite stories, and I love reading different renditions of it. I adore the ballet. In the evening this day, we went to go and see Matilda, which I had been wanting to see since it was announced. Oh my gosh, this is the most excited I've ever been for a film. I've had it in my calendar since the release date was announced, and we went as a family to see it on opening night, the first showing that our local cinema had, and I thought it was excellent. It had the same energy as the musical. It wasn't trying to pose as something else. The choreography is really what stole the show, honestly. The talent there from the dancers. Really loved the kind of revolutionary angle that they took. They really emphasised that, more so than you have in the musical, encouraging us as viewers to stand up against injustice, to recognise when injustice is taking place, and to follow the example of Matilda. So I really loved it, and I would recommend it if you haven't seen it already. Side note as well, Wednesday, the show on Netflix. I don't usually find shows that I love, but I have been really enjoying it and I would highly recommend it. The cinematography is just excellent and I love the soundtrack, and I just love Wednesday as a character. Wonderfully dark sense of humour, but it is funny, it's well written, very clever, witty, slightly absurd. It's just got all the best elements of good storytelling, so would recommend that if you haven't watched it already. Who Could That Be at This Hour, which is a Lemony Snicket book. I bought this ages ago and I never read it, so I plan on just reading a couple of chapters now, and then I'm going to do some writing and then I'll go on a walk. Because as I said yesterday, I definitely need to go on a walk today. It's 11 o'clock and we are finally going to go on this walk. I am just going to get my stuff together, so I am bringing my phone, of course. I should also put a jumper on. I have got quite a lot of jumpers. All of my jumpers are in here, and I'm gonna wear my favourite one, which is this. This is my favourite jumper. It was actually given to me by my mum's friend, Serena, because she wasn't wearing it anymore, and it's so lovely. I'm obsessed with it. It's also the warmest jumper I own, so I've been wearing it on basically all of my walks. Like, how cozy is this? And if you're wondering, it's originally from Jack Wills, so you might be able to find one on Vintage or Depop or something. It's just so nice, and it's like really, really thick. Also, I have got a hat, which actually yesterday Lola got hold of, and I was really scared that she was going to have ruined it, but it's still intact. And this hat is actually my favourite item of clothing or apparel that I own. I got this for Christmas last year, and in the colder months I wear it every day. Then my coat's downstairs, so let's head downstairs. The landscape sleeps in mist from morn till noon, and if the sun looks through, 'tis with a face beamless and pale and round as if the moon. The 10 hours' light is abating, and a late bird wings across when the pines, like waltzers waiting, give their black heads a toss. Beech leaves that yellow the noontime float past like specks in the eye. I set every tree in my June time, and now they obscure the sky. Isn't that wonderful? I love that. At Day Close in November by Thomas Hardy. It is not picking up how beautiful this looks. Now he was carrying something he wanted to keep, and that changed everything. Right, I just finished reading Wait, which I loved. I love Jeanette Winterson as a writer, and every time I read her, I wonder why I don't read her more. My favourite thing is her memoirs. I thought Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit and Why Be Happy When You Can Be Normal were excellent. I just love how she combines fiction and memoir in these, but she does that in Wait as well, because even though she's retelling the myth of Atlas, which is, you know, it's a piece of mythology, it's also interjected with her own real personal experience. Like the speaker, the author, the implied author breaks free from the page and kind of gives you this random, very intimate detail about themselves. And I think connecting the Greek myth to that very real experience is so poignant, and actually why I think so many of us love Greek mythology. The Greek gods and demigods are so enthralling because they're human. They seem human, they've got human faults, and we can connect with them. And I just think Wait does that very well. Anyway, now I'm going to read some more of Who Could That Be at this hour. I read 75 pages this morning, and I think I'm just going to read, I might just read another like 25 or 50 pages and then go upstairs and do a bit of writing before we go and get our Christmas tree, which I'm very excited for. The mythology section had several books that looked interesting and one that looked like it would be helpful. Sadly, it was not one of the ones that looked interesting.
Yeah, I like the top part.
We're back now from getting our Christmas trees, and I actually got one for my room, like I did last year. Oh my gosh, it was just the best idea ever last year. It brought me so much joy. Desk though, I'm gonna have to move because this is the only spot where it will go in my room. It's currently my parents' room. I'm just gonna show you. And this is the tree. It's so beautiful, honestly. But I'm gonna have a shower now. It's a bit earlier than I usually would have a shower, but I've got quite a bad headache at the moment, and I'm hoping that a shower might help to get rid of it. So I will check back in with you later when my sister and I are going to do some decorating. Seeing as I'm filming today, I thought I would introduce you to the yearly planner for 2023 in this video. It didn't really make sense for me to film a whole video showing the planner, considering that it is quite similar to the academic planner. So if you want a really full overview of what the planner is like, then I feel like that other video would be better. But I will show you this one. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. Here we go. So this here is the yearly planner for 2023. This is the academic planner, this is the yearly planner, so as you can see they are the same and the theme is the same. So we've still got a woodland design with illustrations by Anna Gray, who also has a YouTube channel, Anna Talks, if you're interested in looking. She makes very good creative content, and she's also an exceptional artist, so she did the illustrations for this year's planner. The academic planner is of course designed for people at school, and the yearly planner is designed, but the yearly planner can be used in a more versatile way, so it can also be used by people at school because a lot of the spreads have just been slightly adapted, but it can also be used if you're out of school, if you're out of education. And I'm now going to give you a flick through to show you everything that is in this planner. In total it is 258 pages, so it is quite hefty, and it has got everything in it that I think you could need. You don't really need anything else to go with it, and there's a big focus on self-care in this planner as well, because the thing that I really try to promote on my social media is mindful productivity. I don't think it's productive. I don't think we can call it productive if we're getting loads of stuff done but we're not enjoying any of it. What's the point in achieving those goals if you're not going to be happy in doing it? So it's important to be looking after ourselves and enjoying the process of working. Alright, anyway, now I'm actually going to show you the planner, and as always I am so extremely excited to finally be able to share this with you. I always loved About Me pages in planners, but I always thought they were quite boring. They didn't really ask you very interesting questions, but this planner does. So we've got things I'm excited about this year, your biggest motivation, and then also some questions to fill out at the beginning and the end of the year to see if your answers change. Next here is a key, of course, very, very useful. The very first planner that we released at Pumpkin Productivity didn't have one, but I quickly realised it was quite essential, so I just made a key here. This is where you can see that this planner can be used both in education and outside of education, so I'm customising this to be used outside of education, but you could use this colour code system for each of your school subjects as opposed to different areas of your life. Next we move around to the contents page, and I just thought I would customise this with this washi tape, which is beautiful and was designed in collaboration with Note and Wish, especially for this planner release because we've got a woodland theme, and so this is the Matcha Oak Latte washi tape and it's covered in oak leaves, as you can see. I just think it's beautiful and it matches the colour scheme of the planner really well. And I managed to get nail polish on the planner here, which is really sad, so I just covered it up with a sticker. Stickers can hide anything. For anyone who says that stickers aren't useful, there's also a self-care page, which is also in the academic planner, a place for tracking go-to meals and snack ideas, morning and night routine tracker, then this is a new page actually, which is a birthday tracker. I just thought this might be a useful one to include, and I'm just filling it out here as an example for you. There's also a place for tracking goals, things you want to accomplish, and again, this is a new one which I really like. I feel at school and university we are always so keen to start new hobbies, and there are a long list of societies and clubs that we can sign up for, but when we leave education those opportunities aren't really there, and so this is a place for just kind of encouraging yourself to reflect on and think about new activities that you could try. So one thing I'm really keen to start doing in the new year is actually going to adult ballet classes as opposed to just learning it myself at home. We've also got the classic recommendations page, which is honestly so useful. This is one of my favourite pages in the planner. This is a new spread too, which is a to be read chart for the whole of the year. So at the beginning of the year you might want to go through and add in a few classics, a few big books that you want to read at some point this year. So for example, I really finally want to get around to reading Emma and the Brothers Karamazov this year. We've of course got the classic books I read this year and library book log, the two most essential pages in the planner I think, and I can't believe other planners don't have these pages. We've got our yearly overviews, and then this is all our beginning of the new year planning, so pre-2023 planning, also New Year's resolutions. And then we go into the actual daily spreads. So just to show you the monthly spreads, on January we've got a wonderful woodland starry night, February the hedgehogs for Valentine's Day, then March, I love this branch, April, most beautiful birds to commemorate the coming of spring. The fern leaf for May. This is my favourite. June is definitely my favourite. All of the mushrooms. And as you can spot as I'm going through this, there are all of these additional spreads dotted throughout. I'm not going to go into these now though, because I think the really fun thing about these spreads is that you don't necessarily expect them. But this is one of my favourites, the spring cleaning checklist. July I also love as well. These dandelions are just stunning. August. Another spread I really love is this one from August. September. October. November I love, and again, this spread is wonderful. It's a testimonial space, so you give this to friends and then they can write in like a message for you, and then when you're feeling down you could look back at this. So a prompt is something I like about you, my favourite memory together, and something I want to do together, and then it's positioned like a letter. And then finally we've got December, and this one has the coolest and like the most pages. We've got gift ideas here for planning for Christmas. The yearly reflections, this page is one of my favourites, and actually because I want to fill this out this year, I'm going to use the digital yearly planner and like fill this out so I can reflect on this year. And then a to-do list for the Christmas season. And yeah, that brings us to the end of the planner here. So every month has one of these gorgeous cardboard dividers with a wonderful illustration by Anna, and then there is a calendar just for a monthly overview. And my favourite thing about this year's planners is the monthly and weekly overviews, which are so functional, and I've loved using them myself in the academic planners. The reason I wanted to include this is because when setting long-term goals, we're more likely to be proactive and be ambitious and actually be thinking about our long-term goals, whereas on a day-to-day basis, when we're writing to-do lists, we tend to focus on urgent tasks. And if you don't use this planner, like, still that's something I would really recommend doing at the beginning of every month and week, setting a few key goals just to make sure that you are being productive and proactive. Then we've got the daily planning spreads. If you've been watching my videos, you've probably seen me using these so much. These are the daily spreads that I use to write my to-do list nearly every day. 3 pages per week, and this is kind of the main bulk of the planner. One thing you might be able to notice is that this is color coded as well, so depending on the season and the month, it's color coded a different color. So for winter it's blue, spring green, summer pink, and autumn orange, and then each month has a slightly different colour gradation, so you can flick through it, and I think it's very satisfying. But we've got events, reminders, admin tasks, time to spend working, and then this is the to-do list section with the 2 columns to make it more versatile, and then these are the reflection questions at the end of every week, just to kind of like journal a little bit and check in with how you're doing. Right at the end, there is just a lot of note pages and things that you accomplished each of the months. So at the end of the month, I would encourage you to write down 3 things that you accomplished that month, just to show that you are on the right track, you are doing enough. I think making lists like this are really important for just reminding us that we are progressing, we are getting better, and encouraging us to then drive forward.